This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, welcome to yet another Rob Pates Hate. I've been having a blast with this. I mean, I've finished all the big guys, but we kind of are making intros and outros. So we're breaking up the guys one at a time so you have a good comprehensive and not a long video on how to build these guys out. And today we are working on, well, yeah, this crabby mercenary guy. Yeah, he's crabby. So yeah, he's already done, but let me show you how we got to get him done. Why not? Let's go down on the table and check it out. Now we are working on another creepy crawly. There's a couple of them in this hate box, and I gotta say, these are fun to work with. But right now, all I'm doing is taking some pallid witch flesh, and all I'm doing is over the already black primer that I put in. I'm just going in there and kind of just trying to get all this area and cover this guy up and get his flesh tone. And that's all I'm worried about, is just covering all this up, going over it and just getting a nice coat on here. Nice thin coat. Nothing, we're probably going to put 2 coats on it, but just taking a bigger brush and working your way around on this guy. So as you can see, we're getting a nice coat here, and that's exactly the color that we want. So I'm going to keep working on this, and when we come back, I'll show you what else we're going to do with the flesh, because we want to attack the flesh first before we build out to anything else. Now with this is pretty much simple. All we're going to do is take some Carisberg crimson, and we're really going to cover this. Even though we're going to paint some of these areas gray over it, I want to get the skin and the base of the skin, because going over everything else is just really easy. And I really want this to sink in there, and I want it to get into all the recesses. And that's, yeah, exactly like that. You see how it's just reaching in there? And I'm not afraid if I go over some of these other areas or anything like that. The whole point is to get this wash moving around, and I really want it to sink in there deep, because this is going to be the basis that we're going to work out from. Because basically this guy is disgusting. I'm plain and simple. He is just nasty. He's nasty looking. He's probably got a nasty attitude. I mean, he's in a game called Hate. I mean, really, come on. I mean, how much more can we go any further with that? And we just want to make sure we cover all this area that we worked our pallid witch flesh in, because this pallid witch flesh is going to stand out a little bit as we start working it outwards. But the most important thing is to cover it all with this wash. And if we can do that, we are well on our way to painting this demon thing, or whatever it may be. This thing's full of hate. Okay, there we go. And see how I'm putting it on a little thick here, because I really want it to sink in here. Even though this part here is probably going to be like a gray that we're going to work in here for his bone structure. But the main thing is to really get and work this in. And I want to make sure that I work this into the back area of his mouth. And I'm sorry that I'm having such a hard time moving him around here. I'm going to move him right there, and what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this wash, and we're going to try to get this brush into his mouth. If not, that's not a big deal there, but we do want it to have a nice backdrop there. And you can see we're making sure that we cover every bit of area that there is. That's really important here, is good coverage. And you can use a bigger brush for this to do it quicker, and it gives you more control to move that wash around, especially with a bigger figure that we're working with here. Okay, and we're going to work it into his tail, into his spine. We're not going to miss anything under his backside there. So I'm going to keep working away on this, and then we'll come back when this is dry, and we'll show you what the next steps are going to be to get this guy going. Next thing I want to do here is, I've already kind of started it a little bit, is I'm going to take some pallid witch flesh. And that's where we originally kind of started covering this guy a little bit before we hit him real hard. But now what I want to do is I want to kind of start working over, like work over into his head, but I want to keep, yes, exactly what you're seeing here, is I want to keep a little bit of that red underneath. You're going to see where I'm getting at eventually. And we're just going to work that in there. And we're going to make him kind of weird in a way. Well, it's just what I see. You know what I mean? You could do whatever you want. Now this is all going to be gray here, so I'm not worried about it bleeding over. But I want to get this over here, and then we're going to have to touch everything up afterwards. So we're going to work into certain areas like his arms here. Particularly, we want to work in, and we want to get that pallid witch flesh in there really, really well. So it just sits in there really, really nice. Now I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you where we're going to go with this next. Next we're going to be using the Eshin Gray, which is always a great color to use. And you can see where I kind of started over here. We're just hitting the outside here, but the main thing is to get this carapace that he has here. I think I said that right. And just make sure that we get that, and we're going to color that nice and gray all the way through, and just take our time, make sure that we don't get any of the white. That's not what we're trying to do here. We want to get that, and we want to make sure that we get that the complete shielding of his, which is quite impressive. And you can see it works into his horns here, and we're going to really just make sure that we really get this and work our way through. So I'm going to finish this all up, and you're going to see exactly what this looks like when I'm done. That's the best way to do it. Okay, one of the best things that GW ever did was come out with these dry paints. And what it is, it's a bit of a compound where you don't have to take a bunch of paint on there. You just take like a little dab in there, and you're able to wipe this off and get the effect that you want. Now on all this gray, now let me just go one further here. I took some Yashabi bone and I filled it in on the teeth here. Okay, there's a reason for that, and I didn't show it, but just bear with me. I also started the base because you know, I kind of like to get those going and speed the process up a little bit. What I want to do is I really want to make sure that I have this off, so when I come lightly over this and I'm just hitting the high spots here, I'm not taking away what I want to take, and I'm not taking that gray out totally, but I'm just lightly coming over, and I'm giving some depth. It's all about depth. And forgive me if I can't say that, as some of the fans of the show know I'm partially deaf and I have a hard time saying some words. So I particularly apologize for just doing. I have a very hard time hearing. I can't hear myself talk, and that makes things kind of difficult at sometimes. But look what we're doing, okay? We're just this little bit here, just that little bit there. It just gives what I'm looking for, just a little bit of depth, especially on some of these gray pieces. It gives us that shade. We're pulling out detail, and that's all we want to do. And I'm gonna turn this on the side and work this side a little bit. And don't worry if you get it on some of that pink, it just gives it a little bit more character. But I think you see where we're going with this. All right, I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do a couple other things. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to take some Agrath Earthshade. We want to darken up, and I really don't want to lighten up either. some of our crabby mercenary. I guess that's what I'm going to call him, the crabby mercenary. But what we're going to do is I'm going to take some of this wash and I'm going to work into those areas where we have the Ushabti bone. Now I'm not afraid of going over this area like this, because all I want to do is I want this to stand out. I really do. And I'm going to go into his mouth. And do you see how that does exactly what I hoped it would do? It really brings a little depth there. That's what we're looking for. Let me get a little bit more on my brush here. And there you go. Let's pick the bad boy up. I want to come across the teeth here. I don't mind coming into this area. And I want to do the same thing here, as I want him to be, well, basically disgusting. And that's what we're getting there. We're getting this really disgusting look from him. After all, he's some kind of crab monster that, well, is he crabby? I don't know. I think he's just hungry. Come through here. We want to work this into his mouth. We want to build depth. Exactly. Just over the top a little bit. Not too much. And just really work those areas right in there. We want that mouth to really sell that it's really disgusting, and boy, you don't want to get eaten. That's for doggone sure. Alright, I'm going to finish this up. We've got his teeth here, and I'm going to work this area right in here. There we go. And that's going to give us some of that shadow like I was telling you about. Like I always say, we always want to build shadow and depth. So I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to come back. Alright. There we got this ugly thing, and you can see it's done. I'm going to finish up the base a little bit, but pretty much how I took the Agrath Earthshade and kind of worked it in there. Now I can highlight out a little bit, but we're not going to worry about that right now. And like I said, you know, you'll see how it goes as we progress through all these figures. We have our highlights here. I think the darkening right here really kind of sells this area here, and that's what we're really trying to sell, is this thing looking just really nasty and creepy. And well, yeah, I think we accomplished that. We still have our reds, we have our browns, we have our grays, and they all mixed together with the Emperor's Children. I really think I like what I see here, and this is just, like I said, this is a piece anybody can do. You could do it quickly and be very happy with the results that you get, and it'd be perfect for our battlefield. So there you go, the crabby mercenary. I guess that's what we're going to call him. He's done. So let's send it up top this time, and let's get a few of my final thoughts. Well, there you have it. It's not too hard. It's really easy. Anybody can paint. And that's the mission of our whole channel, is that anybody can do this. Anybody can pick up a brush and paint anything. And my thing is to give you a blueprint, a nice easy way, not show off, not pretend I don't know what I'm doing, you know, not be fake and phony, just do things to the best of my ability to teach you and bring you into the hobby that I think you guys will enjoy. Or maybe this is just relaxing where you like to listen to it in the background. Hey, that's fine too. I really enjoy making these blueprint videos. I hope it helps some of you that maybe get lost on some of these creatures and wonder, okay, what am I going to do with this? And, you know, especially with some art that can be very vague and not give you a color scheme. I hope this helps and makes a difference. And we've got plenty of more of these coming up very soon. Now we're headed into a lot of these Viking type guys that we're just going to mow right through. And it's going to be shorter videos, but it's going to show little variances on each and every one, from skin tone to maybe some particular armors. So get ready. We're really going to be having some fun, and I think you're really going to enjoy yourself. Thanks again. As always, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.